Welcome to our explainer. So, what if I told you that an entire, massive philosophical system, a complete view of the cosmos and our place in it, could be captured in a single beautiful prayer? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to dive into through the work of the great Vedantic philosopher Ramanuja. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the prayer itself, and then we'll break down how it actually defines the Supreme Being. From there, we'll look at the central request being made in the prayer, compare the two major spiritual paths it's talking about, and then finally, we'll see how Ramanuja just brilliantly brings it all together. So first up, we're starting with this tiny microcosm that contains the entire universe of his thought. It's a single Sanskrit verse, what's called a Mangala Slokam, and it's the very first thing you read in his masterpiece, the Sribhasyam. Now, this prayer isn't just some polite hello at the beginning of a book. Not at all. It's basically the blueprint, the entire condensed summary of his whole philosophy. So let's start taking it apart, piece by piece. Okay, first things first. Ramanuja sets out to define the object of all our attention, the Supreme Being, or Brahman. And this is key. For him, Brahman is not some abstract, empty void. It's a being with very specific, absolutely magnificent qualities. Ramanuja kicks things off by describing Brahman's role in the universe with this one incredibly dense phrase, Akila Bhuvana Janmastima Bangadi Lile. It sounds complicated, I know, but it points to three core cosmic jobs. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. These huge cosmic actions, creating, holding together, and eventually dissolving entire universes, they're not framed as hard work or some big chore. Ramanuja sees them as something totally different. And that something is Leela, or divine play. This is such a cool concept. The idea is that the whole cosmic show isn't happening because of some need or obligation. It's happening out of pure joy, like a spontaneous burst of creativity. It's play, just for the fun of it. And then the focus shifts dramatically. We go from this vast cosmic creator to a deeply personal protector. This phrase means that Brahman has taken a singular solemn vow, a diksha, to protect any and all beings who turn to him. So in just a few words, we've gone from the cosmic to the deeply personal. Okay, let's get to the very heart of the verse. Now that we know who Brahmana is, this playful creator who is also a sworn protector, Ramanuja tells us exactly what he's praying for. The prayer is for his Shamushi to become Bhakti Rupa. Now, to really get what he's asking for here, we have to unpack these two absolutely critical words. So first we have Shamuchi. This basically means knowledge, intellect, understanding. It's the path of wisdom, a classic path in Vedanta. But, and this is a huge but, Ramanuja doesn't just ask for knowledge. He adds a qualifier that changes everything. And here's the twist. Bhakti Rupa. He isn't asking for knowledge and also devotion, like two separate items on a shopping list. He's asking for a kind of knowledge that is, in its very form, in its very DNA, devotion. A knowledge that is basically indistinguishable from love. And with that one phrase, he brilliantly lays out his view on two very different spiritual paths that you hear about all the time in Vedanta, the path of knowledge and the path of devotion. So let's look at these two. The Jnana Marga, the path of knowledge, is all about intellectual negation. You look at the world and say, not this, to everything, trying to get to some pure, formless reality. It's abstract, it's tough, it's very much a path of the head. But the Bhakti Marga, the path of devotion, is the polar opposite. It's a path of affirmation, of loving engagement with a supreme being who has all those wonderful qualities we talked about. It's a path of the heart. And even the scriptures themselves, like the Bhagavad Gita, point this out. They say, look, for us embodied beings, people with bodies and feelings and lives, that purely abstract path is just incredibly difficult. It's a treacherous climb. So, if that path of pure knowledge is so incredibly hard, does Ramanuja just say, forget it, just focus on devotion? Well, not exactly. His solution is way more elegant. This really is the central question he's tackling. Do you have to pick a side, head or heart? And his answer isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about completely reframing how they relate to each other. And this is it. This is his beautiful synthesis. For Ramanuja, true ultimate understanding isn't some cold, dry, intellectual fact.
It's a warm, loving, constant awareness of the Supreme. The knowledge actually becomes devotion. It becomes Bhakti Rupa. He doesn't throw knowledge away. He elevates it into its most profound, most personal, most heartfelt form.
So, Ramanuja's whole philosophy, packed into that one prayer, leaves us with this really provocative question. It challenges us to think about understanding not as something the mind conquers, but as a connection the heart makes. What if the deepest knowledge we could ever achieve is really just another name for the deepest love we can feel? Thanks for exploring that with us today.